Hi, I'm Anna.
I'm Ben.
We're AutoSave. Welcome to our channel.
Today we're watching the Apothecary Diaries Season 2, Episode 15. Suri is around, I think, but we're not focusing on that right now. We're going to be focusing on the fallout of Xiaolin knocking over some ice.
I'm honestly really scared. This is a moment where I was really nervous to want to see the next episode, to see what would happen here. I want so badly for nothing horrible to happen to Xiaolin. I think that statement is something a lot of people would feel. But I am so nervous with all of those comments that Mao Mao has made over the two seasons now about a servant girl's life, and how that theme has even been brought back within this season, and I'm nervous.
You ready?
Yeah.
Sweet. Who is that?
In the behind?
Yeah, with the
I'm gonna guess Laolin's
bugles.
mom.
Would you say all of this OP is from Jinchi's perspective?
Would I say that?
Yeah, like he's holding the camera.
I don't know, because it seemed like it was half and half with Shisui's perspective, and then some would be Jinchi's perspective.
Cool. Because one of the scenes was them falling down the waterfall.
Mm-hmm. But then another one was getting a bug off of Mao Mao's head.
Yeah. It makes sense. We just saw ice cream at the end of that. That's what the ice is for.
I also feel sorry for her. I mean, okay, I can feel sorry for him too. Mamo, think of something.
Oh my god.
Buy a person with it.
It's salvageable.
Right? Any of the other ones, I feel like Mao Mao could have talked to them.
Yeah. Oh shit.
We're making that thing at the end of the
intro,
opening.
Yeah. Aww. I feel like Jinchi just knows it'll all be okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god.
Probably wanting a new job too with her.
To go from such happiness to what she's at now.
It's huge. Aww. You can tell she's serious just by the cadence of her voice. Rather than she cares.
Yeah, right? No clue what he's talking about. She's wearing it at the end of the OP too.
それをつけてこい。悪いか。つけてきたらその時いいよ。調理場だな。用意させる。
When you wear it,
I'll
I'll
tell
tell
you.
you.
It's almost like a promise to himself, you know, to hold himself accountable.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Nice.
Ice cream!
新鮮なのがあってよかった。作ってるとこを一度見ただけだけど。
I wonder where.
頼むぞ。本当に。
This dude's livelihood is on the line.
これ、かき混ぜて。
His physical body is on the line.
こんなにちっちゃく。大丈夫。
Great sound design.
シャオラン、そっちの器中に突っ込んで。
Temperate.
シャオランは果物切ってちっちゃくね。果物を入れてさらに混ぜて器に盛り付ければ。
There's no way Mamao's gonna deliver this herself, is there?
見ての通りアイスだよ。
Nice treat.
早く持って行ってもらおう。
Oh my god.
いつもの調子が戻ってきたな。
Aw.
こちらを届けてください。
本当に大丈夫なんだろう。
Having him try it, I love that.
I wonder if this is even better than what was gonna be made with the ice, you know?
ローラン妃が気に入ってくれるかな。ジンシ様から好き嫌いの類は聞いておいた。
Mmm.
口
Ooh.
はつけてくれるだろう。
それより溶けちゃう前に食べようよ。そうだよ、食べようよ。おしそれ。なんか騒がしかったから仕事放り出して来てしまいました。ろくでもないね。おいしいわこれ。
Oh my god, were we wrong?
No way. It's her tastes, you know? Of course she'd like it. If anything, she wanted to come check on Shaolin.
もう一回くらいなら作れるかな。
Oh, that face.
動いたわ。
Wow.
She's allowed to interact with the cat now.
It's your sibling, Ungi.
Did she notice it moving?
Protect this child.
生まれるまであともう少し。今のところ順調かな。
不思議ね。リンリーの時と違って舌ばかり蹴ってるの。
Mmm.
下。
赤子のうちから個性が出るのね。
Is that like a sign for gender?
I hope it's not a complication.
Ooh, like they're gonna come out head first or something.
触れてもよろしいでしょうか。
ええ、いいけど。
失礼します。リンリー姫の出産はどうでしたか。
安産だったわよ。ウィーザンとは思えないくらい勉強していたからなんとかなったけど。
Wow.
では今回もその女官に。
また大事な時に体調を崩されてはたまらないわ。リヴァ妃の時も別の方が入ったそうよ。もともと
No one trusts the
臨時で高
doctors.
級入りした助産師だったの。
前回立ち会ったとはいえ、本ニャン様も本業ではないし。
Yeah.
It's so risky.
何かあるなら言ってちょうだい。
断言はできませんが、逆子かもしれません。リンリー姫の時、上ばかりを蹴っていたなら、
Mm-hmm.
頭が下にあったはず。一番大きな頭が先に出ること
Oh,
で
and the okay.
赤子
See,
が円滑に生ま
I don't
れ
know
ます
much about babies.
逆に細い足から出てしまうと出産の危険性が
The
一
fr-
段増
okay.
してしまうのです
Okay.
もう少し詳しく触診すればわかるかもしれませんが、
できるの。
断言はできない。 親父から教わったのは
Not
薬
about
の知識だけ
delivering
だ。
children.
あとは見よう見まねで。母は強しか。わかりました。
This is some high risk shit, man.
どう？なんとも言い難いが、可能性は高いかと思います。どうすればいいの？花町では急や体を動かしたりすると良いと聞きます。
他の方法もないか、高級の外で当たってみます。
ええ、もし逆子のままだったらどうなるのかしら。腹を切ることになるかもしれません。そう。だがそうなれば玉葉様の命
I'm
が
gonna
危
don't
ない。
make me cry. Oh my
ちゃ
god.
んとした助産師がいても危険だというのに、ヤブがもっとまともな医者だったら。だからって代わりなんかどこにいる。高級に入る以上玉があってはいけない。腕が良くて宦官でもある医官なんて。いた。一人最適
Do you
な
think
人
he'd be
物
allowed?
right.
だけど医術の腕は申し分ありません。石灰で赤子を取り上げた経験もあります。
まあ、そんな方が、まさか人士様の次女の。
違います。医者です。
But this is also something to sweat about.
何をしたんだ。どんな方なの？罪人です。
認められません。
信頼できます。この国一番の医者です。
珍しく、ずいぶん大きな口を叩くのね。だけど罪人でしょ。
ほんにゃ、頭から押さえつけないで。マオマオも落ち着いて説明してちょ
You
うだい。
can tell this is hard.
そのものは宦官で高級の医官でした。過去には帝と今の東宮様、そしてアードー妃の巫女を取り上げています。高級を追放された理由についてはアードー妃関連としか。
その人はマオマオとどういう関係なの？
養父です。薬師としての師でもあります。
He's basically been here all along through Mao Mao.
人士殿に提案してみましょう。にゃ、私は優秀な方に任せたいの。それに悪い人だとは思えないのよ。野良猫みたいな子が。
野良猫？
でも罪人です。
ほんにゃ。あの頃の高級な話はあなたも聞いているでしょ。偉大なる女帝の知性に翻弄された方がどんなにいたことか。当時の罪についてそのまま鵜呑みには。
God,
Wow.
Gyokyu. Oh my god.
そうとなれば早速あの子に文を書かないとね。
Whew.
さすがの貫禄。これが母になる妃というものか。
Bringing him back here,
玉葉様に話をした
though.
2日後。
Holy
Oh
shit.
my god. I would have never, ever imagined this.
Jinchi, it's a perfect time to ask for permission.
I'm sure the
I have
Emperor has
chills.
his own feelings about this too.
Yeah.
老婆のような姿をした男が高級にやってきた。
臨時の医官としてしばらく高級医局に仕えることになりました。
Goshin
マオ
holding
マオ
his
から
cane.
聞いております。よろしく頼みますね。
はい。
Whew.
臨時雇いか。まあ、妥協点って。
They're not gonna hire him back completely.
ヤブが解雇されたらどうしようかと思ったが。
ねえねえ、マオマオのお父さんなんだよね。
正確には大叔父だけど。
なんか全然想像と違ったね。
What did you imagine?
優しそうよね。穏やかだし。
Wait until you
Like a normal person.
meet her real dad.
マオマオを育てたのみたいな。
すごくわかる。あなたたち。
あ、いや、
何を想像してたんですか？
まあ、なんて言えば、お式人っぽくない？
だよね。
ゲセヌ。
Mm. Okay, that was the Apothecary Diaries, Season 2, Episode 15. I was joking in the episode when we got to see Shisui come back, and I was like, oh, maybe we were wrong. I feel like that's the most valid confirmation we've gotten since.
Right? It's her taste. She comes in right then at that time.
Yeah.
And it's so perfectly written and staged. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder when we're gonna find out, when it's gonna reveal itself.
I thought it might be there. I thought it might be in this episode because in my mind, for some reason, because Mao Mao is able to be so connected to all the different concubines and able to enter their pavilions, I thought it would be more of I'm presenting this thing I made you and taking responsibility for knocking over the ice, but I'm presenting you with this treat instead. I'm sorry.
And then
type thing.
being like, something's familiar here.
Yeah, in the same way that when we had that ghost storytelling episode, where she looks over at Shisui and she's like, there's something familiar about Shisui. I was expecting her to have a moment like that with Laolin. Not that it would answer not that her seeing Laolin would give her the answer, like, oh my god, they're the same person, but that at least she would then have a similar thought to what she had when she looked at Shisui.
Yeah.
And that's what I expected. It makes a lot more sense that Mao Mao wasn't gonna go with the eunuch because it really wasn't her place or position here to go with him.
I'm also glad that the eunuch didn't end up being a dick. Like, after he got the taste, like, he had a lot on the line there. And
one of the people watching said that they would think that he'd be caned for this.
After being able, like, he was still anxious. Like, are you sure this is gonna suffice? And then after trying it, he was like, okay, sweet, locked in, thank you, I'm on my way.
And we didn't get to see it, but Jinshi gave Mao Mao some really great tips on things that Laolin likes.
Yeah.
And so she was able to make this sweet treat be literally perfect for the concubine.
It was objectively, you can break it down. It was Xiaolin's fault that this happened. But take a step back, accidents happen. It was nobody's fault, and we managed to find a solution to make everybody happy, and that just makes me happy.
You know what you're saying, what it makes me think of for what this episode might actually be telling us is the old way versus the new way. We have this idea of not wanting to judge a person's crimes if they were said to be crimes back when the old empress was kind of reigning and in charge. And I feel like this has, to me, none of these concubines give me the energy that any of them would be willing to have someone be punished in such a harsh manner for an accident.
Yeah.
Obviously Mao Mao is worried because she's like, well, Laolin's the one I don't have connections with. Meaning she feels pretty confident that she could reason with any of the others in order to not have any strict punishment for either the eunuch or Xiaolin or anyone in this scenario, that we can come up with some sort of compromise and apologies can happen and no harsh punishments will happen. I feel like it's a good contrast in this episode of there's a new way within the rear palace, a new way of treating other people. We are getting rid of slavery. We're bringing in former slaves and giving them jobs and skill sets and finding the right places for them. We're getting rid of the surgeries that make people eunuchs.
Also, and how Gyokyu is phrasing what Lauman could have done as a criminal. We can't look at crimes like that. We can't take them at face value. It was a different time under a different rule.
Right. So I think people are still scared that obviously things haven't changed, because what has given them a reason to not be scared if they've probably been there or heard stories? I mean, the whole first season, we're really seeing how fast rumors spread within the rear palace and stories and the history of what used to go on here. It's not like a servant or a eunuch is going to just believe and take it at face value that nothing bad has happened recently.
Yeah. To close out, talks on Laolin and the whole Shisui thing, I was bringing up when it might happen. In my mind, it's gonna have to deal with her father, and it's gonna that's the crossroads that it's gonna explode at. That's my best guess going forward.
I think it has to. I'm not gonna say it has to be, but I feel like because of how heavy Shisui is within the opening for this core to the second half of this season,
Yeah.
it makes me believe that we're not going to get an actual reveal to Mao Mao until much more toward the end of the season.
I wonder if it's going to be a parallel between what Mao Mao has here with Zhao Lin, right? Like, at first, Mao Mao used Zhao Lin for gossip, made sure that there was an exchange of goods so one person didn't owe another person, and it's developed into legitimate care and a legitimate friend. And if there comes a time that Mao Mao needs something or that Mao Mao is in trouble and it is directly involving Lao Lin's father, then maybe Lao Lin would have that similar emotional, empathetic response to wanting to help Mao Mao because of their actual friendship.
That or Lao Lin is supposed to be, Lao Lin, she's sweet, it's supposed to be directly like a reveal of a true identity at the same time as Jinshi getting to reveal, which is another point of something within this episode that we can talk about, which is if you put the hair stick in, the silver one that he had gifted her, then he will tell Mao Mao the truth of who he is.
Which I don't think we saw her wear towards the end of the episode. I have something else pulled up right now, but yeah, I don't think she has it in yet. Which is good, because then Jinshi would have added 20 more minutes to this episode, so we could tell her. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm okay with adding 20 more minutes to this episode.
No, me too, but I want to talk about the actual ending of this episode. Suri, quote unquote, we think, is standing over graves. I don't know what to make of it other than motive now. Like, right? Like, there being motive that within the rear palace, she might have had a connection to someone, and that would motivate her prior actions and her current actions. And she would, like, in the same way that, let's say Mao Mao is reintroducing Luomin to the palace, even though that he was deemed a criminal and in the prior reign, something could have happened in that prior reign to somebody important to Suri, and it ended in their death. And now there is, instead of, like, Mao Mao doesn't hold like a specific grudge to motivate her to cause harm within the palace, but Suri could.
Oh, well, honestly, that was one of the things that when in the first season, that idea of once we found out kind of the truth, we were of who Mao Mao's adopted father was and why he's not working in the rear palace anymore. It has always been a worry that people would look at Mao Mao like she was here for revenge, or speculate that she could have been, and that her circumstances and the people, her family and the people that raised her, would be used against her to create a motive that isn't actually her own. But like, it's really great that you're grabbing onto that and possibly saying, were we given that energy and that idea so that we could then place it upon someone who's actually taking possible revenge later on in the story, someone who's actually being an antagonist? This gravesite, I feel like it has to be within the palace to some degree for a eunuch, the slave eunuch, to be able to walk there and be standing in front of the grave. I feel like it has to be within close vicinity to the rear palace, if not within it.
I'd agree with you.
And who would be, but then my question is, who would be buried there? It has, if it's gonna be within the walls, it would have to be someone important. I could even go, what if it's the babies?
That's so fascinating. You're right. I didn't even think about, like, what your standing must be to be buried there.
They're not gonna bury a servant girl or a eunuch that was killed.
Would it be like, where would they bury a concubine? Would they bury a concubine in their own, like, hometown?
In their hometown, right.
Or would they be buried in the rear palace? Because I think that the baby thing has a lot of legs of it potentially being a baby, but it could be anybody who's important.
If it's a high official, they'd probably be buried in their own family plot.
Yeah.
If it's a concubine, like you said, as long as they had a family home still intact with family there, I'm sure they would want to bury the concubine within their hometown. So I feel like whose graves are here? Obviously, it's in a wooded area, but we know there are areas within the rear palace that are heavily wooded.
If it's an important person and Suri has a connection to it, does that mean Suri isn't acting alone? Like, does Suri have a camp?
I never really thought that she was acting alone. I think she's brilliant and could have been, But I believe, especially when we have the idea that she was like introduced into this job. I mean,
Yeah.
unless it was like such a long plan of hers of like, okay, meet this person and then he'll introduce me and then all these stepping
So
stones.
if
that she was
Suri
taking.
had a connection to the Rear Palace before, as shown by her standing over a grave,
Mhm.
right? And we know that, let's say, a servant of Gyokyu, like Hung Yang, if something happened to Gyokyu 20 years from now, 10 years from now, somebody came to Hung Yang and was like, we know who caused Gyokyu to get killed or to get hurt. Help us like infiltrate the palace to get revenge. Hung Yang has so much loyalty and care for Gyokyu that I would assume that it'd be that long standing that it wouldn't be off the table, that she'd be like, let's get this fucker, you know? If something did happen to a baby or to a concubine, that they might have lingering, like, or people within the Rear Palace still who held them in high regard, who would help insert Suri into the Rear Palace.
I feel like it wouldn't be. I feel like whatever it is isn't necessarily Suri's battle. I would say she's probably more on the same page as Mao Mao in terms of they are the new generation, if you will. And it's that same idea of like the old empress's reign is where all of these murky things happened and these people being sent out as criminals. And Mao Mao is one who doesn't want to like speculate, conjecture, all of these rumors. We're really putting a line in the sand, especially when we get what the previous emperor is like. We put a very big line in the sand between him and the current emperor in Jinshi in terms of what they are like, what they are about, who they are as people. And I feel like this is just another example of there is a line in the sand of generation, and I feel like it wouldn't necessarily be something that directly happened to her. If anything, it's something that happened to someone older than her that she knows. She's furthering a cause. She was born into a cause,
or whoever she's standing over at the gravesite.
And we know she has help because there was help with sneaking her out of the coffin in the funeral home after she woke up. So
definitely on the table.
Definitely on the table.
Gyokyu is fantastic. I love her. She's my favorite character in the show. Mao Mao has a line that says, I guess that's what a concubine becoming a mother is like. She handles everything that happened this episode like a fucking badass. Like, I feel like a lot of people, unfortunately, know or have had somebody in their life have a miscarriage or have problems with a pregnancy. It is a extremely emotional thing, and it's very emotionally taxing. Gyokyu handles this shit so well and objectively, and has so much trust in Mao Mao, and you can tell that her priority, she gets over herself. There's no, she never even thinks about herself. She's thinking about her baby, and she's just trying to figure out the best way to handle it. She isn't scared to hear anything. She's like, okay, well, what does a breech delivery mean? What does that mean? Like, I'm ready. I'm going to prepare myself. Nothing is, this is going to be nothing compared to childbirth, you know?
As a viewer, I was just another person in the room. I was scared for her, fearful for her. I mean, the facts, obviously it was incredibly dangerous to give birth in the time period that is being depicted here in this story. It is still a difficult and scary task. It is still sometimes a life-threatening task, and there are still complications to this day, even with progress in medicine. And it is something that is very scary to me too, that getting the depictions within the show, it's something that fills me like very clearly with fear and discomfort.
Cutting her belly like that, like is that not like almost certain death if you don't have somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing?
That's why there was such high stakes for Gyokyu to be like, Hongyang, like, Mao Mao has something to say here. We really need to hear this, because what she's saying might have to happen. I need a professional.
Yeah.
Like, you helped me, like,
which is
like,
awesome,
thank
right?
She, like, I love her for the fact of how much she cares. Think of it, if Lishu was older and was older and was able to be pregnant, and
how shitty her fucking camp would be.
She would probably be dead, honestly, because her ladies in waiting would not have studied up in the same way. None of them trust the doctor, even though we like him because he's kind of this comedic relief and he's very nice, but he's not skilled. Like Lady Luiha even had someone else help in her previous birth.
And like Hung Yang's like, yeah, I don't want to like schedule her just for her to fucking feel ill again. And she went out of her way to study, but you can only do so much. There's only there's a point in time that you're like, regular birth fine, cutting her belly, holy shit.
Yeah.
I also think that, like, emotionally, if you're doing this for Lady Gyokyu, like, you need to have steady hands, you know?
I spent, like, half of this episode just being so, I almost felt, like, bodily ill in terms of my fear for Gyokyu, and I feel like that I'll still continue to be that way. Obviously, I feel a lot better now that Lauman's here, but I feel like I'm going to continue feeling that way anytime there is scenes of just to deal with pregnancy.
I think so, but I think I feel it so much more this episode because it's specifically Gyokyu. I don't think I would feel this strongly towards anybody, any of the other ladies in waiting at the moment. Like, she's just so important to me.
My point has nothing to do with connection to it's maybe it's because of, I don't know, maybe but yeah, I definitely it being Gyokyu, but she, like you said, is so incredibly powerful in this episode. Like, she does not lose her shine, she does not lose her power in this episode. This is not going to shake her. She is going to do everything she can to ensure that her baby can be born, and whatever she can do for that child, she will do. And obviously there's also hope that she will survive this as well, which why wouldn't she want to? She also has another child that exists in this world and is alive that she wants to be able to raise and protect. Like, she's already worried about the future for Lingli. She wants Lingli to learn about poisons and mushrooms from Mao Mao, just so when Lingli in the future is an adult and is being married off somewhere else, that she has everything she needs to survive. Gyokyu is a beautiful character.
Yeah. What did Suiren do?
Maybe I feel like I could see her of being incredibly strict.
So my mother is both of my parents are in the medical field. My mother is an ER nurse, or was an ER nurse, and she was very stern and very right to the point while being in the ER. Like, what the fuck did you do? Fucking deal with it. We're trying to save your life right now. And like, that's how I almost imagine Suiren being at like the complete opposite of Luomin, which is like okay, very calm, like, you know, it's just like, okay, we need to get the shit done, and I'm gonna be objective about it, and like, you know, right there. Do you agree? You know my mom.
So I always say that I think that someone like that is, if I was ever in the ER and something was terribly wrong, I would want someone who was not, I think I'd want someone who had the energy that was like, I am saving your life right now.
Yeah.
I'm saving your life.
I just see a parallel between those two.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see that. I mean, they look kind of similar.
Yeah.
To some degree.
Okay. I loved Jinchi's line to Mao Mao in this episode when he says, when someone is talking to you, let them finish and pay attention. Like, that was the initial deal on the table, right? And Mao Mao is the best person in the world at being oblivious to the situation that's going on, and I adore it.
She has no clue where this would come from. Where's this idea that why would he have to say something like this? And we know, we're like, yeah, let a man finish talking for once. Like, yeah. Which is funny because then later on in the episode, Gyokyu's like, let Mao Mao finish talking. If she could give that to other people, you know, she would have learned some things much earlier in the story than we haven't even seen her learn these things now because of some of her tendencies. Sometimes it's just an accident that it doesn't happen, but sometimes it's a little bit her.
Yeah.
It's a little bit her tendencies.
My last thing I have, if you could turn up your volume on your headset. Okay. So the sound design in the ice cream making scene or the ice treat making scene was absurdly good. I want to re-listen to it.
Yeah.
シャオランは果物切ってちっちゃくね。
That is the majority of it, but oh my god, it's so good. Like, you don't have to do this, the Apothecary Diaries, but when you choose to make a scene that is very simple, even has just like a still in it and doesn't continue with like incredible animation or whatever, and you go the extra mile of being able to let your audience hear the scraping of the bowl while it's being mixed, it's what makes me another reason why I love the series. It makes me so happy to hear.
I love when you see videos of the people behind the sound effects, whether it be a live action that needs like an overlay, like a help with the sound, or it's for an animation of like someone in heels stomping around a room on a certain flooring. I love seeing videos like that, and I can just imagine the person that was recording that sound effect for that scene.
So cool. You have anything else?
You can buy a person with that cube of ice that we started this episode.
With
I
the
feel like that's
amount-
just a fact that I wanted to throw
With
in
the
there.
amount of money that cube of ice must have cost at this time of year, it shows you how fucking important this was and how much trouble Xiaolin could have gotten in.
Yeah.
Damn.
But now we have no see, I went into this episode so fearful, so scared, and now Xiaolin's okay. She is building connections. She has a really favorable connection brewing right now. It's a low-ranking concubine, I think they said, but still that could be good.
Yeah, that's great.
That could be amazing, and we got a pretty pin out of it. We have plans for future massages.
And now that you bring up Xiaolin, like we got to learn a little bit about like where she came
her,
from,
like family life,
and her family life, and just knowing the kind of person that she is and how cheerful she is, and she's always happy, like despite crying this episode. I love her so much.
Well, despite crying in this episode, it was surprising even for Mao Mao a little bit. This is something that she's never seen from this girl that was kind of just all smiles, all enjoying treats that Mao Mao brought to her, all gossip. Yeah, definitely I feel better going into further content because I don't have to be worried about such a sweet child, such a sweet girl.
I'm glad that you don't have to be worried about the sweet girl, and you don't have to be worried about anything like a childbirth or complications or anything like that.
I'm already trying to forget about the childbirth stuff. I mean, okay, I feel a little bit. I mean, I feel good.
You feel better that Loman's here, yeah.
Yeah, but I also I feel super uncomfortable when stuff like that is shown in general. I'm so glad this isn't live action.
Yeah.
Because if there's any scenes of like the mom screaming,
I
birth.
wonder if we're ever gonna get Luomin Lacan within the Rear Palace. Like that would be a fascinating thing to see.
Don't you think that it could be hinted at by how all of the other ladies in waiting are
so surprised?
Like, oh, that's not what we expected your dad would be like. And in Mao Mao's head, she's like, well, he's kind of my great uncle, but we know that her birth dad is also within here.
Like legitimately though, you would be so shocked in terms of like nature versus nurture. Thankfully, and I'm blessed to be able to have a video on AutoSave of me and my biological little sister watching a movie, but I didn't grow up with them. And once I reconnected with them and got to meet them, the amount of similarities that we have in terms of just like micro movements or personality or words that we say that have no reason to be similar is astounding. And the fact that Mao Mao has like a little bit of Lacan in her disposition, like somewhat, is I love it.
It's not even about like, not only is Lacan really tied to Mao Mao in terms of like, oh, he's gonna want to be around her, Jinshi's worried about him, but one of the people most important to him is back within the Rear Palace. Yeah. I feel like he's gonna get involved even more
see.
So. Okay.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and hope to see you next time.